I'd like to call to order the Dearborn Public Schools Board of Education regular meeting for August 24th, 2015. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Miriam Bazey.
Here.
Trustee Joseph Guido.
Here.
Trustee Fedwa Hammoud.
Here.
Unofficial yet. Trustee Mary Lane, here. Trustee Michael Mead.
Here.
Trustee Mary Petchlikov.
Here.
President Roxanne McDonald.
Here. Next item,
All
please.
present. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. President McDonald will lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd just like to request right now a moment of silence for a student who passed away, Colin Johnson, on the weekend of August 15th, tragically. Our condolences go out to him and his family. He's a former Dearborn High School student and member of the band at Dearborn High School. So if we could just bow and observe a moment of silence to him and his family, please. Thank you.
Next item, please.
New board member, oath of office. Board member Fedwa Hammoud will take the oath of office at this time, administered by Judge Gregory Bill, 3rd District Court. Judge Bill and Fedwa Hammoud will stand and with right hands raised. Judge Bill will ask Ms. Hammoud to repeat after him the oath of office. What did I say?
District.
I said district court? It's 3rd Circuit Court. Thank you, sorry about that.
Feel free to say Supreme Court or Court of Appeals, U.S. District. You know, I've got to say just briefly, as a judge, it's my pleasure to deal with Miriam Bazey and Fadwa Hammoud on a daily basis. They engender the respect of all those they serve with, and you're very blessed to have this person as a member of your board. And I say that as a graduate of Fordson High School and probably the University of Michigan Dearborn, where I worked for 2 of your state senators. So at this point, would you like me to swear her in?
Please.
Yeah.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I,
I,
Fadwa Hammoud,
Fadwa Hammoud,
do hereby swear and affirm
do hereby swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office
of trustee of the school district of the city of Dearborn
as trustee of the school district of the city of Dearborn
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
in the manner provided by law.
in the manner provided by law.
Congratulations.
You guys up here for a moment.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
President McDonald, if I might ask a favor,
Certainly.
I think that our new trustee has some family members present. Maybe she could show us a
Absolutely.
future
Please.
Dearborn Schools student out there somewhere.
I appreciate that, Mary Lane. First, I'm truly overwhelmed by the support that's here today. Not only is it my family members, but my family, my colleagues, and I'm just truly overwhelmed, very humbled. I'll start out with, as you can see, a very special person was calling Mama in the room today. That's my son, Hattie, who's one of my biggest supporters, along with my family, my mom, my father, my husband, my grandfather, who instilled education in us since day one. And again, if I could name everybody by name, I would, but thank you for giving me this opportunity. I am humbled, and I truly thank every single one of you for coming here and supporting me. And I hope that I can make you all proud. So thank you.
You'll be a fine addition to this board. Thank you.
Thank you
very
so much, Rex.
Next item, please.
Superintendent's update, agenda items.
Okay, I have just some congratulations. I know Superintendent Whiston, it was a tradition just to congratulate those retirees that were close to 20 years. And so we'll start with Robert Ozenbaugh, 25 years of service. We have Barbara Stevens, 17 and a third years of service. Leah Tunstall, 19 and a half years of service. Kathy Willett, 26 and a third years of service. And we have Mark Zichterman, who was on personal leave, but he has 19 years of service and he has retired. So we want to thank the retirees and congratulate them on their retirement.
Are there any non-agenda?
Yes, I do. In your packet for the board, I gave you a copy of something called Spotlight on Assessment, and I can tell you our new state superintendent has already enhanced this. One of the issues that's come up is about testing and the over-testing in the state. And we have two requirements of testing. Testing that we are required from the state, and then there are things that we're doing for our own student growth within the school district. And so I can tell you right now that we are looking at creating a report. We have a committee working on it. And we've already done some things, but in November we'll bring to the board a full report on assessment. But I do want to tell you that the M-STEP has already been reduced for this year. Notice has already gone out, so it's in this. And school accountability, because our testing system is new and it's really 2 years old, they're going to restrain from actually putting out report card scores this year on school accountability to give some time to get reliable data so that you can actually have a fair rating of schools. So it's going to take us a little bit of time. And again, we want to look at how we can enhance our testing, maximize it, make it more efficient. But this is a positive move. And so I know that we've had some parent correspondence and whatnot, so I'm happy to report on these areas. And again, we will have a full report to you in November. I think you got some information from Dr. Shankman in the board briefs. So, thank you. Yes.
Superintendent Maleko, I think you neglected to thank former Superintendent Brian Whiston, who was responsible
Yes.
for reducing
Sure.
I don't mean to take you to task, but I would also like to point out, I don't know if she's still here, but I would like to thank former board president Amy Scholes, who came back
Yes,
also.
thank you.
So,
Yes.
You're keeping us all in mind today. No, I appreciate it. Next item, please.
Okay, I think we're at citizens' participation. So citizens wishing to address the board on agenda and non-agenda items for action who are signed in by 7:10 p.m. by submitting a blue card to the secretary may speak at this time. The board may not be in a position to respond to non-agenda items. Therefore, speakers should not anticipate an immediate response to their comments or questions. For the benefit of all concerned, please do not mention the names of students or school district employees. Please keep your comments as brief as possible. The board president reserves the right to limit time. So we have one blue card. It's really hard to read. Mr. Hussein Berry is going to speak on parent involvement programs. And he is representing himself. He's from Dearborn. Of course, we realize he's past school board
Thank you, Trustee
president
Lane.
Berry also.
Madam President, school board trustees, Superintendent Dr. Glenn Maleko, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. First of all, I want to congratulate Trustee Hammoud. This was a great addition to this awesome board. I'm looking forward to some successful things next few years. For many, many years, I've always heard about how do we get the parents involved? How do we get the parents involved? As many others thought, we always have the secrets, and you talk to the teachers, they tell you, parents are involved, the students are successful. You hear it from the administrators, you hear it from everybody involved. I sat in this room about a month ago and listened to about 15 or 16 of our parents when we were going through the appointment process. I saw some amazing people, to be honest with you. We need to somehow, some way, I'm offering this as an idea to the board here, reach out to those parents. It was a very diverse group. You had entrepreneurs, you had people who have been involved with the schools for many, many years through the PTA. what I heard, I was blown away. I said, wow, where are these parents? Usually when you run a campaign to run for school board, it's very intimidating. It's not an easy task, okay? But the fact that we had all these parents come out, I'm reaching out to you here. Please, try to form a committee to get those parents in here. Have a mentor, maybe 5 parents at the first grade level each. If out of the 15 or 16, if you get 10 of them, if they each mentor about 5 parents moving forward, you can imagine where this would lead to, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. I think the problem would be if somebody tried to do it outside the board here or outside the administration, would be where would we meet? Who would organize this? I think if you gave them a venue, maybe this room or what have you, I think it can lead to some tremendous things. It would relieve a lot of pressure off the teachers, the administrators. What I saw, those parents would be your go-to parents. So thank you very much and have a good meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Agreed, a lot of the parents who had, and a lot of the people in general who had come and applied for the position were just outstanding in character and very involved in the community. So that is a resource that perhaps we can tap into in some respect. Yes.
I'd like to pose a question to the superintendent. I think that it has been a requirement for No Child Left Behind that we keep an eye on parent involvement and in all of our schools. And I'm just wondering, with that suggestion in mind, whether we have a goal at each of our schools to have 100% parent visitation in the schools. I know when I was a parent at Edsel, some of the principals would talk about Edsel, Stout, or wherever, doesn't really matter, making sure that every parent had been, every student had a parent, guardian, family member come into the school, because when they're in once, they normally get more involved. Mm-hmm. The student knows that the parent is involved, and as Mr. Berry has just said, it really promotes education and just getting people in the door, making sure that every student has someone who comes in for them would be a great goal. I don't know if we have that as a goal, but I think that every school should have that as a goal.
And every school does, they have goals within their school improvement plan, whether or not what exact number that is or through their Title I, but I agree, and we can look at that and look at it as a whole district-wide goal.
And I do know, having been involved at the parent level as a PTA and part of the PTSA council over the years, we have parent liaisons in every one of our buildings, I believe. I would like to think that that's one of their, and that what I would really like to see then is a report from all these parent liaisons as to what they are doing and how are their numbers improving in getting these parents into the buildings, because I believe that should be their mission as a parent liaison in the building, whatever other roles they have.
We can do that.
I have a question too. Does each school, as far as you're aware, have a list of different volunteer opportunities there are for parents? Because when parents think of getting involved in a school, automatically they think PTA, and for some parents, that's not the role they're looking to play. But I know some, especially in high school, they have like set building or design or sound tech or, So I think if each school had a list of opportunities, that might encourage some parents to get involved in something that they're comfortable of sharing their talents. Sure. So, anyone else? Next item, please.
Approval of minutes. Approval of the following Dearborn Board of Education meetings. Regular P12 meeting, July 13th, 2015, Board Report 1512. Special meeting, open board vacancy interviews, July 15th, 2012. Did I say 12? 2015. Board Report 1513. Special meeting, open board vacancy interviews, July 16, 2015. Board Report 1514. Special meeting, open board vacancy, July 20th, 2015. Board Report 1515. It is recommended that we make any necessary corrections and move approval of these minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any corrections, additions?
On-
Trustee Lane?
On page 9 of the minutes of the regular P12 meeting, I'd like to make this correction under section 14. It says trustee Lane said that per Brad Banasak from MASB, it is common practice to have the secretary act as vice president. That was President McDonald that contacted MASB. That was not me. The second the second sentence, I asked the board if someone else would rather serve. That's correct for me, but it was President McDonald. So that minor correction being made.
And the contact was actually made by Dawn, but the information was forwarded to me. So,
If there are no
Got it.
objections.
I'm sorry? Are there any other corrections, any other additions? Okay, hearing none, we'll attach a unanimous affirmative. Next item, please.
Recognition and acknowledgements, commendations.
Well, I have a couple that I'm just going to read from here. We had Carrie Mikowski Sabalico, a second grade teacher at Snow a few weeks ago. You may have seen on the news. She was heralded as a hero for actually saving some victims from a fire, a crash, and so we just like to give commendations for her for going above and beyond and saving the lives of individuals on the highway. So thank you to her. And the other one is you may have seen Newsweek magazine. We've had Fordson and Henry Ford College recognized nationally for beating the odds. And again, these are just two examples of the great programs of all our schools that are going on, but it's great when we can get some recognition. And those two schools are recognized by Newsweek magazine as two of the top in the nation. So, commendations to them as well.
Could you repeat that? It was two of the top.
Yes, in the nation.
Entire United
Yes,
States.
in the United States. So, and again, we take pride on all of our schools. These are just two examples of how we work together as a team. And thank you to the Board of Education for their support to have these things. But yeah, that's a great, wonderful thing to be proud of.
Always great things happening in Dearborn.
Yes.
Lots to be proud of.
Thank you for emphasizing that a little more for me, Trustee.
Let's not be low-key about it. Let's be flat.
She's like,
Break out the horns.
Ready for acknowledgement of
Yes,
donations?
so donations. Okay, so we have a donation of $1,000. It's been offered to Dearborn High School by the Detroit Auto Dealers Association. It's sponsored by Mr. Jim Sevet, owner of the Village Ford, to be used for the teacher sponsor for the newly established Red Cross Club. So we'd like to thank him and the group for the donation.
Any other?
None.
Next item, please.
Special reports, celebration of August graduates, Dr. Glenn Maleko, Dr. Gail Schenkman.
So I'm going to ask Dr. Schenkman. Thank you.
Good evening, President McDonald and Board. It's my pleasure to be here to share with you the good news of our graduates from August. We had 80 students complete their high school requirements in August. 34 from Dearborn High, 14 from Etzel Ford, 29 from Fordson, 2 from Henry Ford Early College, and 1 from Dearborn Magnet. Now, these students completed their requirements at Fordson High School during the summer school program, which was held from June the 22nd through July the 24th, through traditional classes face-to-face, also through work-based learning, so students were able to work if they needed elective credit and they had a job and continue working, through Edgenuity, which is a blended learning program where they're sitting in the classroom at Fordson, but we're able to have them work online and do that with the assistance of the teacher. We do that frequently when we don't have enough students to efficiently run a class. So if we only had a couple students that needed Language Arts 2 to complete their diploma, that would be the most efficient way for those students to be supported in that endeavor, and they have a teacher there with them that's a certified language arts teacher. And for those students who really couldn't do the face-to-face and needed to be somewhere else at the same time they were taking a class, we offer classes through Michigan Virtual High School. And we were very proud that they completed there. Now, sometimes it's said that when we have August grads and we acknowledge them at our graduation in June, and we say they're going to be August grads, maybe that's not such a great idea. But I'm going to give you some data that supports that that is such a great idea. So of those students who walked, who were August grads acknowledged in the program at Dearborn High, of 35 of them, 34 of them completed their high school requirements. Of the 14 students at Etzel Ford who walked, every single one of them completed their high school requirements. Of the 34 students at Fordson that walked, 29 completed, and the students at the early college, both of those, and the student at Magnet completed. So of those students, most of them completed their high school requirements. And for those few who didn't, we will be reaching out to them. The high school graduation intervention specialist, that is their first assignment. They get a hold of those students, and they're back today doing that work and making sure that they complete through adult education. So in Dearborn, it's important that students graduate high school, and we follow through on that. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. That's exactly what I was going to ask, so you answered my question ahead of time.
Excellent.
Trustee Lane?
I'd like to beg your indulgence if I could tell a little story. I know that this is dear to Dr. Schenkman's heart, and I really appreciate her and the graduation intervention specialists. I recall a friend of one of my nieces who had family coming in for her graduation, and then she was notified very shortly, like 1 or 2 weeks before the graduation, that she would not graduate. The reason was because she thought she had finished a work study and they notified her that she hadn't completed. It was just before the graduation, so it was absolutely terrible for her family. And that school did not allow her to walk. She did finish her diploma and she graduated later. She corrected everything that was wrong. It was really a bookkeeping error that the school in that case and the work should have caught earlier. But it was something that she won't forget. I mean, she was the person that was mortified over it. Her family was very upset. I remember it, even though it's years ago. So I know that this is very important to have the statistics bear out that this is something so important to kids. I'm really grateful to see what we all know in our hearts, that they will do the right thing when given the chance, and that it's a really big and awesome thing when kids do graduate. It really does save people's lives. So thank you, Dr. Schenkman and the graduation specialists. It's really important work.
Thank you. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Osama Beydoun, who was the principal of our summer school. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations to all of those students and their families. Well done. Next item, please.
Administrative activities, opening days of school, Dr. Glenn Maleko, Dr. Gail Schenkman, Ms. Shannon Peterson, Dr. Jill Chokel.
Yes. Ms. Peterson and Dr. Chokel will come up.
Well, good evening, President McDonald, trustees, and Superintendent Maleko. We are here to talk about the opening day of activities, and I think it's really important to acknowledge that many, many teachers and administrators have worked all summer with students and families to get everyone ready for the first day of school. There were face-to-face summer schools where students came and attended every day. There was some blended learning for summer schools. The kindergarten jumpstart began today, and we have upcoming kindergartners who are coming part-time to prepare for school. And then we will have a kindergarten soft start where kindergartners attend part-time the first week of school so that they will adjust to all of the many things that they encounter during that first week of school. So lots of changes for little people, and the goal for the soft start program is to ensure a successful start for all of the students. There was also lots of professional development over the summer, so lots of teachers and administrators participated in their own learning in order to prepare for teachers and students returning to school this fall.
And right now is a very busy time of year. You'd think that the summertime is a slow time, but I found at central office it's a very busy time. We have lots of student opportunities right now. We have Link Crew going on at our high schools. We have early start programs for kindergarten 6th and 9th graders, so that they have a nice transition into their new level of schooling. Welcome back picnics planned. I know that STEM and ACE both have something planned. New teacher PD was today. Those teachers sat in this room from 8 to about 4, really getting a lot of information about the district and all the supports that we provide. We have district PD planned for next week. Our focus is depth of knowledge and We have a guest speaker, Dorina Sackman. She's 2014 Florida Teacher of the Year, and she's going to be discussing culturally responsive teaching for our teachers. And we also have a focus on language-rich environment to help all of our students, but obviously ELL students is the main focus for that. Also, our administrators this week are going through evaluation for the new teacher evaluation system, Teachscape, and every building administrator has identified 2 teachers that will also be trained to help train their teachers in using this new system. So lots going on. Great time of year.
Absolutely, thank you. I did have the opportunity to address the new hires this morning at their orientation. Lots of exciting faces, and everyone's ready to jump in. So we're going to have a great year.
It's the second best day of the year.
Absolutely.
After
Next to
graduation. Yes, great. Welcome back.
Great, thank you.
Next item, please.
Action items. Are there any agenda items on this agenda which board members or the superintendent wish to discuss and vote on separately? If there are, we will exclude these from the motion below. We have one supplement that was added, number 15, which is an order in purchase.
I just want to, we don't have to vote on it separately. I just want some additional information on number 15. Anyone else?
I would also like to make a comment about it.
Okay.
So, do you want to proceed by a motion on the items and then return to it before the summary?
Yes, that would be fine.
I hope we have a summary, because I didn't print a summary. What would I do without my friends in
In high places.
in high and every places next to me? Okay, so move that action items numbered 1 through 15 be approved as recommended in this agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so 1 through 15, and we're just going to discuss, because 15 is the supplement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Okay.
So do you want me to read the summary, or do you want to go to 15?
Go to 15.
Go to 15. Okay, 15 is move that the board award a 1-year extension for Trinity Transportation based on no increase in unit pricing as per sealed bid number 1196. Initial value of this contract is estimated at $750,000. It is noted that per items of the contract, the district reserves the right to add or delete runs.
Okay. I just, I've had some concerns about this for some time, and I've mentioned it to Mr. Wiston as well as Dr. Maleko. And I know at this late start, it would perhaps hinder us starting school, which disturbs me, and we can't have that. But I just would like to have some additional information, and when I talked to Dr. Maleko, he said that they would consider, they would form a committee. Because the things that concern me is, one, well, it's a very large sum of money. In the initial, it says the initial value, so the contract it never tends to go down. It always tends to go up with added runs and not the decrease of runs. So those are just some things that are on my mind. And then we're extending a contract last year, and I believe they were also the only bidder last year. So those are just some things that red flag me, and I'd like some more information and concerns me.
Sure. So do you want me to mention about the
Yeah,
committee?
you can go
So we've been talking about this on cabinet, and we're going to be forming a committee. This will involve instruction, it'll involve transportation, and what we really want to do is to study how our money is being spent, our efficiency. We were going to involve maybe somebody from the community, a representative, and just look at it, look at the things we've done. Now, my understanding is years ago with the Plant Moran report, there were some reductions that we made to save class size and other things that went into instruction, so there were some reductions. So looking also at the number of buses that we have currently, and can we accommodate if we were to take more buses within our school district, and then just some efficiencies and or maybe some out-of-the-box thinking, getting the instruction people together to see if there's any improvements. And again, I think our transportation department, they work hard and they've done a great job, but how can we look at things so maybe we can accommodate, and if we can get more people, full-time bus drivers hired if possible. I do know that there is a shortage not only on a local but a state level, and we have made some efforts to try to really aggressively recruit, but it has been a little challenging. So this may not create a short-term solution, but if we have a committee to look at this long-term and where we're at, and so we've been talking about this on cabinet, and Ms. Bankhead will be heading up that committee in Human Resources, and I'll be monitoring it.
Okay. And we had also talked that perhaps we would form some CPI teams at the P12 level to address things, and this might be an area that would benefit from.
That would be, because Dr. Jensen and I have been talking, and we're going to be setting up some trainings for staff over here with the CPI model in the fall, and then hopefully we'll be able to use the model moving forward. And so, I look forward to doing that as well. And that's could be an option.
When this committee forms, I hope that we take into consideration what the other neighboring communities are also doing and struggling with, and how they're, and whether there's some kind of sharing that we could potentially consider. If we're struggling with recruitment and hiring of bus drivers, I'm assuming that others are having similar problems.
They are. And from our superintendent meeting, and when I was in HR, they're having issues as well.
There's just got to be a solution of some sort, so.
Yeah.
Well, yes, Trustee Lane?
So in other words, you're putting like an open call out for anyone who wants to volunteer for this committee, right? Who's particularly interested.
We're always inclusive, so.
I did ask one time because I saw another district's bus broken down along the Southfield Expressway, and I asked Superintendent Whiston, there are some kinds of informal and formal shares and agreements. So if our bus breaks down, we'll help another district, but maybe there could be more. I mean, part of the problem with hiring people that are split shift is that they don't have time to go home. It's not attractive to people, but maybe if they could combine the work with another district's run or with something else. And, the skills aren't always the same skill set, but people really are creative. It's amazing the stuff that people come up with. So I'm hopeful with a committee, but I also had a concern on number 15, and my concern is that I think there has been a lot of discussion of privatization. I personally think our own people do the best job. Mm-hmm. Our staff takes care of our kids the way we want them to, and if they don't, we can act on that. So I'm in favor of that, and I am concerned when I see buses, some of the buses that are on the expressway that are driving way too fast. I don't see Dearborn buses, because if I did, I'd be for sure writing those down, but I've been passed before. I'm kind of slow anyways, but I've been passed before by school buses, and I'm really concerned about that. We are one of the few districts that has seat belts. We wouldn't drive a car around now without seat belts, so I really don't like us using this private deal. So I hope we won't use it any more than is necessary. Maybe you could inform us also then, Superintendent, I almost said Whiston, Maleko, whether they have seatbelts in their buses and as to their driver training.
And if they're used. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, Trustee Massey?
What requirements are there to be a bus driver?
There are licensing, and I know they need the chauffeur license. I don't know, is Jeff there? No, come up.
The district covers
the
that.
District, yeah. I mean, we cover some of the training. I know there's also been some enhanced testing that happens, to ensure safety.
I'm sorry,
I don't know if you want to testing for bus drivers.
Yeah, they have to take 4 separate DOT tests. They also have to go through drug and alcohol screening. So it's quite extensive for someone that's looking for a part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would assume part-time positions then.
Yes. They all
Okay.
are.
I would assume they have to have a high school diploma
Yes.
and, you know, the
And
basics.
the subcontractors that we use, they do have to go through those same qualifications. Those are statewide when you're driving a school bus.
But, you know, it's kind of like if you have a regular security guard who's assigned to Dearborn High or Fordson, they get to know the kids, and they get a good touch. I mean, they're so good with knowing kids and how to handle situations, and the same thing happens with bus drivers. If they're on a regular route, they recognize the kids, they know how to interact with the kids, whereas, you know, somebody that's just doing this job and, you know,
And-
Plus the
they're
ma-
not as good as ours,
The
sorry.
majority of them are from our neighborhoods.
what I was
And
gonna
they know our
say.
students, and they care about this district.
I believe the majority
That's
are
just
probably
something that can't be measured in
Dearborn.
my.
And we have a great staff that's very friendly with all our
No.
students.
I didn't realize that all the positions are part-time. I thought some were
Well,
full-time.
we have, I shouldn't say, we have maybe 6 part-time positions, or 6 full-time positions. The rest are all part-time,
Okay,
so.
And that's one of the things we can look at with the committee.
perhaps
See how-
there's a way of finding a way to make that a full-time position with, you know, thinking outside the box. But there's a solution out there, I'm certain of it. So, anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Summary of agenda action items. Number 1, approval of warrants. Number 2, approval of professional development services for Dearborn STEM ACE Adult Education Department. Number 3, approval of adult ed GED textbooks and materials. Number 4, approval of blanket purchase orders. Number 5, approval of change orders 6 to 9, approval of non-instructional and instructional personnel items for P12. Number 10, approval of declaration of 2015 summer graduates. Number 11, approval of executive director of staff and student services. Number 12, approval of executive director for business and operations. Number 13, approval of layoff of P12 teacher. 14, approval of donation. Number 15, approval of contracted transportation account.
Well done. Catch your breath.
All right, so I'd like to congratulate, if I can call up Mason Ali Bazzi, our new Executive Director of Staff and Student Services, to the podium. And of course, this position means a lot to me because it was my former position, so welcome and congratulations.
Board trustees and Dr. Maleko, I can't thank you enough. As a graduate of Dearborn Schools, I am extremely honored to accept this position. I will not disappoint you. I will give 2,000%, and I will not let you down. I'm honored to serve, to continue serving our students, our community, and our staff. So I'm looking forward to moving forward with the district in this capacity and growing, and looking forward to working with all of you as well. Thank you. I'd also like to introduce my husband.
Oh, please.
Mohammed Bazzi. Very patient, wonderful husband, thank goodness, thank God. Thank you again.
Thank you, congratulations.
So I'd also like to call up Mr. Tom Wall, the new Executive Director of Business and Operations. And this position is also as important because we need a balanced budget and a favorable budget, right?
I've heard a lot of comments already in the back. Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Maleko, thank you for this opportunity to support and faith in me in this position. We moved here 17 years ago. We specifically looked at the Dearborn area to move into. I still have kids in the district, and I have an open door policy. So if you have any questions, feel free to stop by and ask me. So I look forward to working with all of you. I also want to introduce my wife, Monica. She didn't want me to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please. Sam's wife was Monica, too.
Oh.
That's
true.
Yes, did we attach an affirmative?
Oh, no, we did not. I'm sorry. Keep me in line.
No, it's not me. It's Trustee Bazzi who's keeping me on my toes.
We'll attach an affirmative, unanimous affirmative to those items, please.
Okay, so.
I'm still relatively new at this, so I appreciate your help.
I'm not critiquing you. I've been misreading all night, I think.
We just got to dot those i's.
Yes, yep, it's good to be on our toes.
I'll need help. Go
So
ahead.
we are now on Board of Education business, board member committee.
Discussion item, really.
Oh, see what I mean? I gotta, really do need
There is
people to
none,
keep me
but-
on my toes. Okay,
Doesn't
discussion
go in order.
item, 30-minute time limit.
None.
Okay. Acknowledgement of correspondence.
I believe everyone did receive a correspondence from, pertaining to the college, but I'm not aware of any others. Anyone else? No.
Board of Education business, board member committee, and organization reports.
We did have some committee meetings tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and start with Trustee Bazey.
So we had the Finance Committee meeting tonight at 5:30. We ended up meeting, and we met with Plant Moran. They indicated that they're starting the beginning of their audit process for the July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2015 school year. It's my understanding that's a 3-step process. And they're going to have a report ready for us possibly by the end of October, beginning of November. I think is their understanding where they might be doing a presentation to the board. So.
I think they're slated for the November meeting, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Usually they do November and earlier for the college.
For the college, yes.
And they're going to be doing an overall financial overview, but they're also going to be hand selecting certain smaller budget items just to kind of randomly selecting them to make sure that we are on our toes in every respect, making sure every dollar has been spent wisely. So.
Very good. Trustee Lane?
So, being on the committee also, if any members of the public have any concerns about any financial practices, or they think there's any kind of irregularity with our accounting, with our systems, they're welcome to contact either the superintendent or the board members, and that is through the main office at 10 Acres.
And it'll be forwarded to Plant Moran
Right.
for them to investigate.
Right.
Trustee Guido?
We also had a building and site committee meeting before this meeting, and we talked about a few things. I'll go through them very quickly. The first thing we talked about was a bond update, and Jeff was nice enough to put a synopsis together for me, so I'll read this really quick. Over the summer, we've completed about $18 million worth of construction work, bond construction work. Very quickly, Henry Ford additions. Henry Ford will be complete by the start of school. William Ford is complete. Forts and concessions and bleachers are complete. Gear Park is complete by the start of school. Woodworth masonry underway, steel erected, parking lot in, and bus drop-off complete. Bryant, the roofing is in progress, and the envelope will be enclosed by this fall. The work at Snow is complete, and River Oaks, the masonry is complete. The brick is 95%, structural steel complete. Roofing in progress, concrete floors poured, and the envelope will be enclosed by fall. Then we had some miscellaneous summer projects. There's a longer list, but mainly paving, roofing, restrooms, remodeling, auditorium at O.L. Smith and Dearborn High. The work in there is completed. Locker rooms at Dearborn High, Fortson, the baseball backboard's complete, or basketball backboard's complete, lobby and the band room's complete. There are digital signs to be completed by this fall. The access control project is complete, and the district-wide furniture package is complete. So a lot has happened over the summer. We currently, in our budget, the bond budget, we currently maintain a contingency fund of $2,067,000, which is, at some point when we're done with all the projects, is going to be discretionary as to how we might want to allocate those funds at a later date. So that's something we as a board need to talk about. The total contracts awarded to date with change orders is $65,339,207, and the ASC is the only project not yet completed, which is this building. So that's kind of the construction bond progress review. And we did talk a little bit about some options for this building. The big component that ties into a lot of our decision-making, which I think we're going to talk about at the retreat, we're going to get some more information together for everybody, is the technology part of it. Because this building is wired for our district-wide technology. And anywhere that we move from this location, there's a substantial cost associated with reworking our technology infrastructure. And our head-end room, I think it's called, And so there is some consequence of moving from this site in terms of dollars allocated towards technology that we may not have to deal with if we stay here. So those are all things that they're going to put some more numbers together for us, and we'll be able to discuss that at the retreat. And then we talked very quickly, we were running out of time, we talked about House School. I think there was a walkthrough this week. We don't have an offer or anything like that yet, but we also have to, that's a topic for our discussion at the retreat as to what we want to do with how in the short term and in the long term, and the building as well. So those are the basic topics that we talked about, and they're compiling some more specific work items and dollar amounts attached to those work items so we can have a meaningful discussion at our retreat.
Trustee Lane? I really appreciate when I get out, and we have a lot of citizens who bring up issues, and I really appreciate it. So I did have some people that were concerned about the status of a couple of areas. Number one, with the project at Snow School, since so many students are being bused into snow, right along Culver, almost 500 years of tree growth was cut down there. So I don't know whether Mr. Burrick had it in the budget there, but I think as a board, when we take out hundreds of years of tree growth, we should put in something to re-landscape. I don't remember it exactly, but there were many communities that were devastated by Dutch elm disease, by so many loss of tree cover. Just recently at Whitmore Bowls a few years ago, when the ash borer invasion started wiping out millions of trees in Michigan, they realized that all the trees that were along the lot line with the pool were going to all have to go down, and they had a giant field that was full bore sun and kids going out on the playground with no place to get away from the sun. So a lot of these things we think, oh, it's just esoteric. Not really. We need to plan for those kind of things. So I'm bringing it up now just to raise the issue to all of us as a community, and then to the Building and Site Committee also, that we need to consider replacing trees because it's important for kids to have a place on the playground, to have trees. I mean, if nothing else, that's important. But the schools are the center of our neighborhoods, and when I'm riding my bike around, I don't know about anybody else, but when I'm over at Edsel Ford, there are people there all the time, walking, playing tennis. They're a community resource, and we should keep them up, and we don't want to denude them of vegetation. We want them to be a welcoming place. In my opinion, there should be benches at all of them as well, so that they're as inviting to people as possible. That's the thing that's a quality of life issue for our whole city, not just for a school, but I consider that we're an asset to our community, our schools, and the way we've kept them up has been fantastic because our citizens have been supportive, and we've taxed ourselves a lot to maintain the best quality. So I'd like to remind all of us that trees are a part of that best quality, and being green is more important now than ever. So I wanted to bring that up, and I want to thank those people who didn't really want their names mentioned, but there are a lot of concerned citizens that do bring up things, and they say, will you check this out, will you check that out? So,
just to add to that, if you drive around anywhere in this area, Dearborn, you'll know you're in Dearborn because of trees. There's trees around. You go to other communities, you just don't see it. So I think it is important to our community as a whole to maintain that. And I as well get a lot of contacts from individuals and residents who are concerned about some of the construction, and we try to address those issues. And we do try to be a really good neighbor and help them the best we can. So that's my 2 cents worth. Anyone else?
Can I just add that there is monies allocated, so we will be looking at that, replanting trees, and I've talked to Mr. Burrick, and there is money in the bond allocation for that. So
wonderful. Anyone else?
I would just like to piggyback on that, because I'm not only am I the president of the Federation of Neighborhood Associations, and property maintenance is a huge concern at every single meeting. I'm also chair of the school committee for City Beautiful Commission. And it isn't just esoteric. We're trying to impart that knowledge to all of our students about the importance of our environment and the totality of what it contributes to our quality of life. So I do want to make sure that we are a good steward, because this is something that the city is constantly trying to educate the community about. And we've gone about it in a variety of ways to make sure that individual property owners aren't tearing down their treescape, and that the school's got to set an example, because we've made a commitment to be a neighborhood school for a reason. So, and it is the hub of each, and actually our city plan commission has acknowledged that all of our neighborhoods are centered around each of the local schools.
Agreed. Anyone else? Next item, please.
Board member commentary.
I think we spilled into that a little bit, but go ahead, Trustee Bazey.
I just want to take a second to congratulate Trustee Hammoud for joining us and welcome her to the board. I also wanted to congratulate Mrs. Ali Bazey. I know she's going to be wonderful in that role, and Mr. Thomas Wall for joining us as well. There's been so much change over the last couple months, but I think that a lot of it's been so positive, and I love the direction that the district continues to head in. And I wanted to briefly make a comment about the presentations that were made by Dr. Shankman, Dr. Chokol, and Mrs. Peterson. What is so wonderful about this district is the opportunity that we give students, and today was another example of that diversity of opportunity that they have in Dearborn that they really don't have in any other places. And I know you spoke a little bit about that, but having talked to some board members from other areas and seeing what they're doing and the challenges they face, I'm every day, and especially when I come to board meetings, I realize how blessed I am that I live in this community and my children are attending this district. So I wanted to thank everybody for what they're doing and congratulate all the new teachers. I think that's a wonderful thing. So
Absolutely, I agree 100%. Anyone else? Nope. Next item, please.
Requests for information and/or future agenda items.
Trustee Petlicoff?
I just have a quick question. Recently in the news, there's been a lot of conversation, and the state is now taking it up, I believe maybe at the insistence of the federal government, about having stronger policies in our bylaws and I know Dr. Maleko is very big on technology and using all the variety of ways to connect with the school community with tweeting, blogging, whatever that we know is out there, but that there's
more
been
to come.
Yeah, well, that's my question is that do we have a really well-written policy, because their state is looking at making sure that every district has a good policy, because there's been some misuse by teachers in other districts to contact students inappropriately, and that there hasn't been a universal mandate from the state to have this in our bylaws, but that it's coming down the pike. Do we already have something in place, or do we need to be beefing up what we have?
We have one in place, and we've used it when necessary. It's been adopted by the board. I would say that we are looking at other districts and what they're doing as the technology continues to change, what modifications might be necessary.
Right, that's what because I know we have something,
yes.
But is it updated? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking at right now.
Okay.
I would say that the policy as it stands, and I was very familiar with it in my previous position and others, that it works, it protects the interest, yes. But I do think we need to, as these new social medias are expanding all over, we have to look at things
that we didn't consider.
Yes, and there's other districts that are actually models that we've looked at, like a couple of other public schools that we within the Tri-County area that we've been looking at. They've done some things, and our policy has gone through our attorneys and everything.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I do think we need to look at that in the future, any potential changes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, Trustee Bazey.
A quick question. I know this was in the board briefs, and I know we've talked about it before, but in terms of the recycling bins at all the schools, is there a date when all those are going to be at the schools? I read it quickly last week, but
Don Ball's been working director in operations. I'll have him come up. He's been working on this with the city. I've seen the email communication going back and forth, so I know it's coming soon.
Yes. Good evening, President, trustees. We are setting up a meeting with the city, and it's just a matter of determining what buildings and how we're going to proceed. First meeting, we're going to have a kickoff meeting with the city within the next week.
Great.
And I'll keep Dr. Maliko posted as we're going forward.
Fantastic.
that's wonderful. I know that I had a lot of concerns about being the schools recycling, and I know we've been working on it, so I'm happy to hear. Hopefully, it's going to start soon. So.
And it's great that the city wants to partner with us in a positive manner, you know, friendly neighbors, community to do this, so thank you.
Trustee Lane.
Returning to the communications issue, one person who, you know, you don't think about people if they're doing a really great job. One person who does a yeoman's job at communications is Mr. David Mustin, and we haven't had problems with our communications because we have somebody who does a really fantastic job. So I'd like to thank him for all the work he does. He does an unbelievable amount, and communications are obviously critical. But I did have some private citizens come up and ask me when I was riding my bike around the track about the use of facilities. I did bring this up to Dr. Maliko already. I think there's uneven use of our facilities, particularly our athletic fields. Our policy is that people can use it, and it all contributes to the welfare of the district, but I know that there are some schools that are concerned that they're getting use, and when it comes time for replacement, you know, what are they going to be, you know, are there going to be questions asked? Why did your field deteriorate faster? Why is your pool have this problem? And it also presents a lot of wear on the building. There are a lot of things you don't think about. I know, having been over one of the middle schools, somebody mentioned to me, you know, we have people in the building a lot, and sometimes if you don't have something chained down, it walks out. So those type of things we don't always think about, and we need to consider how much we're getting for the use of our facilities. So I did ask Dr. Maliko if our fees, I don't think our fees are competitive for the use of our facilities, and I did have some citizens complain about the flag football, the adult flag football that's going on at Edsel. I don't know if it's happening. I know it's happening at Stout as well because I'm riding my bike around those places. I don't know where else. Mr. Barry's here. He could probably tell us exactly what fields are being used by the Lions. And the person that a couple people actually that talked to me said we don't have any issue with kids using it. That's why they're here, is for kids to use it. But I don't think we're charging, the district isn't charging enough for the men's football league, and I don't want us to get a reputation as a cheap date. So that people, and I have heard that people from other cities are playing on our fields. Neither team is a Dearborn team. They're coming here because we're cheap. So I'd like a report from the superintendent and passing that down. I'm sure you'll pass that on to Mr. Burke, but on how much we're getting in revenue from that and whether it's worth the cost of it. So also how we're going to, are we getting some schools that get all use and no recompense, et cetera. So, I mean, that would apply not only to athletics, but also art and music. I know that the schools that are centrally located and have, you know, certain capacity in the auditorium or whatever, they tend to get used a lot. So we need to make sure that that's fair. So the other thing in conjunction with that, we receive funds when we have cell towers at certain schools, and I happen to know about Edsel because I heard this complaint as I was riding over there. So the district gets the funds in, but then when the trucks are driving in and out to maintain the cell tower, at Edsel there's one panel that's off of the cell tower there. There are tracks that are dug in like, like a horse or an oxen cart was going through there. It's so much mud, and the arborvitaes have all died off. So we need to make sure that the companies that are subcontracting with us maintain their facilities. So I would like to have that looked at as well. So, sure, Mr. Wallaby and Mr. Burke will be looking at that.
Mr. Wall, he already has a list. It looks like Mr.
So
Wall.
it's going to get longer. It is things that people bring up.
Are
People notice it, and they should. I mean, it's their facilities that they paid for, and we're the guardians for that.
And we've
So
had
I
this
appreciate
conversation when I was last on the board about the use of these facilities in the past, and were we charging enough and to recoup the wear and tear? So this has been an ongoing issue.
Well, we all know what they're going to cost to replace at some point.
Oh,
It's not
absolutely.
gonna be
Yeah.
cheap, so, it would be nice if those funds went into a dedicated fund to replace the field when it became time to do that, but I don't know.
Well, certainly
If
since
that
it's
would
coming
even-
from the taxpayers' pockets, and if neither group using the facilities is even a Dearborn taxpayer, then you really want to wonder about.
Yeah,
They
it's-
don't want the wear and tear on their facilities.
I think it's hard to, sometimes I'll drive on the weekend, I'll drive past Dearborn High, and you see 3 or 4 guys out there kicking a ball around. And you
They
have no
jumped the
clue as to
fence.
whether they're authorized to be there or
They've
not.
jumped
I mean,
the
the policing
fence.
of that is very difficult to do, so I guess you're gonna get that, from time to time, but I agree that, we ought to make sure that our pricing is competitive, and somehow there's some funds available at the time when that's coming, when we know we have to replace the turf on those fields. I don't recall, I think when we originally did that, there was so many uses that they gave us, it would last for so long based on this many uses a year, and I don't know if we're exceeding that, or we're below that, or where we're at with that, but obviously at some point in time, they're gonna need to be replaced, and I think it was well in excess of 300,000 or it was a large number to do that at some point, so.
Oh, I think the turf was like over $1 million, wasn't it?
Well, I think the whole project
Yeah.
was that, but I think the turf part of it was, I don't know, it sticks in my mind, 300 or so. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, the person that brought it up to me said, it's one thing if you have a scrawny 100-pound middle schooler out there. It's another thing when you have 300-pound adult men playing rugby or even flag football, which is not supposed to be so contact, but the wear is different, so something
One
to
thing
ponder.
I want to add just to something that you said about our own David Mustin, and I was at both Trustee Mead and I were at a convention the weekend before last, and one of the classes that I sat on was basically a communications class, and we were the only district in this entire class that were fortunate enough to have a communications director. So, and you do an amazing job, and I am so thankful we have you. So I just wanted to add a little kudos to you as well.
And I like them because I can look straight across.
Among the many reasons I like it.
Okay. Next item, please.
Keeping it light. Superintendent's reports.
So just a couple of things that I wanted to mention in personal commentary. Congratulations to Trustee Hammoud and welcome. Look forward to working with you. I know former board president Shullas was left when I thanked her the last time at the July meeting, but I want to thank her as well for all of her support and hard work on the board over the years. The other thing I just want to mention is I was at Etzel Ford last week on Monday, and this was an approved permit that the Detroit Lions took out, so it was authorized. Nobody jumped the fence, but it was a great experience, and I know the Etzel staff, Abe Mashur, Bob Picano, and the rest, and it was a great event for the children. And I got to tell you, one of the things too, Calvin Johnson is just a great ambassador for the team. He sat there and he was signing autographs the longest of all the players, and I got my jersey signed, my son got signed, and so it was just
Now,
a great event.
for some reason, we missed that whole.
Yeah, I don't know, you guys were
I don't know why.
tied up or something. I don't know what you had.
Yeah.
We're usually tied up.
Oh, was that meeting?
That
Okay.
was
a Monday evening.
Monday meeting.
I was being an ambassador for the school
You
district.
you did good, no problem.
We
So-
appreciate it.
And the only other thing is I just want to mention we have the Welcome Back staff picnic coming up on September 2nd at between 11 and 1, Cabinet, I will be serving, and so we hope that staff can make it for that, and of course the board is invited. And then the only other thing I want to mention is, September 8th, first day of school. It's exciting. We have a half day for all students. We'll be out in the buildings. Board is welcome to sign up if they wanted to go to a track of 3 schools. And it's a very exciting time. As you mentioned, graduation, but the first day of school is also another exciting time. And so just a reminder to parents, that's their first day, and we're very excited to have the students come back to the schools, after probably one of the longer summers with the late Labor Day. So it's an exciting time of the year.
I have to back up just a minute because I had wrote myself a note and then I skipped it. We had originally had a tour, the possibility of a tour this Thursday for board members to tour the facilities in the building and things that have been going on around the district. As of now, there hasn't been anyone who has stepped forward and said that that's a good day for them to go. I know many of us have talked about, I would really like to go. That's not necessarily the best day for me, so I don't know if we can find a day where it works better. There's also a couple other opportunities.
Yeah, there was also, depending on when, we could look at another date, depending on what you want to do, or September 16th, we have an afternoon and a morning. We have staff from the ASC building that's going to be going to the buildings as well. So there's different options, and we can be accommodating to the board pending your convenience. So if we didn't want to do that day, or if we had some people that wanted to go that day, we can still do it, or have a second option.
Is anyone interested in
I
Thursday?
was interested. I was gonna commit to it today.
What
but-
time is it on the 27th?
We could be
We didn't
flexible.
make a-
We were
yeah,
looking
didn't
at
make a
either
time.
afternoon or evening. We
I
can-
can't do the 27th, but if there's another evening that works, I'd be
Okay.
interested in doing it.
Okay.
So, Mary, and if I can, I will join you. I just don't know for sure that I can at this point.
And actually, that would be evening. The earliest we could start, I have all the principals coming back for a meeting between 12:30
Yeah,
and 3:30.
you have.
That's my
yeah.
big, so it would have to be after that. So
I'm fine.
depending on
I'm fine with that.
if we look at like a 3:30 or 4 o'clock or
Oh,
later.
Mary.
It's up to 4.
4?
4 is
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Okay.
On the
I will
27th.
see, I might be able to join you.
If it's at 4, I can probably join.
4 o'clock? Okay. Okay, so we can have 3.
Do we want to meet here?
Yes, I
And
think we'll
then
meet here, and then we would drive
drive
together.
to
and
where- yeah.
Mr. Burek will be our tour guide. He was my tour guide, very gracious a couple of times. so-
Show us your bus driving skills there, Jeff.
Okay,
He's
so
been
then
very
that-
busy. He's been
That
working
brings
hard.
up another issue. If there's 4 of us, is there?
Yeah, as long as it's social
It's
conversation.
social conversation.
It's
We-
allowed.
We can take a tour of the building and
Ask Amy,
look at.
she's out there.
And I did get this book today. from
Yes.
Mary, thank you.
Yeah, we'd have to keep it on a social level, so.
Yeah, no, we're
Okay.
allowed to assemble as long as it's social.
Right, but we would be looking at
Yeah,
properties
true.
and stuff, so.
So we could just meet in the superintendent conference room at 4, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone else? I think we're good. Okay, next item, please.
Future meeting dates. Monday, September 14th, 2015. Are there still planned 2 meetings before the 7 o'clock meeting?
Yeah, it's a retreat.
No.
Involved.
We're looking at, the retreat, and we can get that announcement Friday, September 11th, 5:30 at the college.
That is scheduled, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And what about the 2 expulsions?
They were pending, we were just waiting on,
Shall I read those,
yes,
just to be
yeah,
on the
go
safe
ahead,
side?
yes, please.
Okay. All right. So, Friday, September 11th at 5:30 at Henry Ford College Board Retreat. Monday, September 14th, 2015, 5 p.m. expulsion meeting at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, September 14th at 6 p.m. expulsion meeting closed. 6 o'clock p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, September 14th, 2015, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 o'clock p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, September 21st, 2015, HFC meeting, 7 o'clock p.m. at the Andrew Mazzara Services and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom, Henry Ford College. Monday, October 12th, 2015, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, October 19th, 2015, HFC meeting, 7:00 p.m. at the Andrew Mazzara Services and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom, Henry Ford College.
We are adjourned.